Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome back to another video. Politics with Luke John. I'm Luke John, and yeah, general election. We kind of all guessed which way it was going to go anyway, didn't we? So, that's not a huge surprise. Um, Tories got an absolute thrashing. Labour got a vast majority. Surprise of the election, the Lib Dems, 70 new MPs. I think that's fantastic. I think that gives um, our government now a three-way system and two chances for scrutiny from two parties in opposition. I think that's been lacking over the last 4, 5 year. The Labour in opposition just kind of let the Tories get on with it and didn't really scrutinise enough and put too much into it. They kind of just, give them their own rope and let them do whatever they do with it. So, yeah, it's going to be surprising. Let's see what happens. Um, where I live, in Teesside, I live in Thornaby. Um, where I live, my town was split into by the Boundary Commission. They have half of my town is now in Middlesbrough and Thornaby East, and the other half is in Stockton West, but yet we still come under the same council, which was very confusing for people because when they went to the polling stations and picked up the postal votes, there was different names on it than they were expecting. Wasn't particularly great by the Boundary Commission to do that. I thought it was supposed to make it a much more simpler process for people to vote, for the electorate to do their thing. They've just confused the whole thing anyway. So, Andy MacDonald gone in for Middlesbrough, Thornaby East. Not a surprise. Matt Vickers, Conservative, held his seat. That was a surprise. I didn't think he'd get beat by much, but I wasn't expecting him to retain. I think he's the only Conservative MP now in the northeast. So yeah, that's quite a surprise. But it is what it is. When they changed the boundaries, they kind of handed it. One half of Thornaby is a little bit more Conservative leaning, the other half is more Labour, and that's exactly how they voted. So it's not really a surprise. But yeah, I don't know what to expect from Labour. I reckon more of the same. I can't see them improving things that much because I don't think they've got a plan. I think they've just winged it right until the last minute, and that's kind of what I see they're going to do for the first 6 to 8 months. They're just going to go along with it. I mean, luckily for them, they've got a summer recess period coming up. Their summer holidays, because why not? The only people that get summer holidays are kids at school and MPs. Everybody else get to work and pay taxes and keep voting them. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it's going to be. We can't really do much. But like I said, I am pleased for the Lib Dems. I should say as well, the SNP got an absolute drumming. And rightly so. From what I've seen other people say and talk about and post about living in Scotland and their life and things, yeah, they kind of made it the same way as the Tories did, hard to vote for them, which is also what Labour did as well. I also read a lot of posts from lifelong Labour voters, supporters, red to the core, who in this election just could not bear to vote Labour, which is a really sad thing because for me, my great grandma was a secretary of the local Labour Party. She was actually instrumental in forming the first ever Meals on Wheels, along with Head Wrightson and the group there, the Women's Institute and things. And I reckon she'd really be turning in her grave right now because it's not the Labour Party of old. It's not even new Labour. It's new, further to the right than ever before Labour, and I reckon that's kind of murky waters and a little bit dangerous for the party. They kind of all seem to have moved right, so I'm a central, politically central. I was going to say politician. I'm not. I got kicked out last year. But yeah, it's going to be very difficult now for people to find their true home within political parties. Jeremy Corbyn got back in. I did think he wasn't going to be honest. Under Labour had this big rejuvenation. More members than ever before had joined the big rallies. I've seen the ones in Middlesbrough, in Gateshead, Leeds, Manchester with Corbyn. I think Corbyn even done Glastonbury. And it was kind of forming a more socialist outlook. If it wasn't for all the backstabbing going on with his own MPs within the political parliamentary Labour Party, they scuppered that. It wasn't anybody else. It wasn't the voters. It wasn't because Corbyn was a terrible leader. He just had a very terrible support system around him, and they're kind of all out for themselves. They wanted it. They've seen all these new people join and the party starting to rise again, and they thought, we want our name at the top. So off you pop, Jeremy. We're not even going to thank you. We're just going to expel you and say good riddance and give the party back to us because we're just going to run it into the ground. But that's my view on it. It's going to be very interesting for me going forward because as a councillor that I'm hoping to get back to in 2027, to have two MPs covering the same town should be pretty fun. Because what happens is when you're a councillor, sometimes you don't just get your own ward issues. Some people only feel comfortable with certain councillors from different areas. So there was always a passing on of notes and things like that. Could you contact these? Could you do this? Could you do this? And, you work up and you work with people. How I'm going to do that between two, if I get back in, we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting time. I think it's going to be turbulent time. I don't see us getting any better off anytime soon. Yeah, it is what it is on this front. But there we have it. The election of elections that should have had a new outcome, but more of the same. It's just confusing. If politics in the UK was a Facebook profile, it would mark it down as relationship status. It's complicated. So, yep, it is what it is. I look forward to making more videos. I'm kind of looking at where I want to go in the future, what I want to do. But yeah, that's everything. Nice and short. Like, I think most of these videos are going to be around the 10-minute mark. Not too long. But yeah, thank you for joining me on another video. And until next time, cheers.